Christopher Nolan is probably the most famous film director alive, with films like Interstellar, Inception, and the Batman trilogy raking in over $6 billion. But the crazy part, he's only 55 years old. Think about it. Steven Spielberg is 79 years old and he has another film coming out in a couple months. So there's a lot of Nolan yet to come, and I'm here for it. Nolan's last film, Oppenheimer, which came out in 2023, was a huge success, even though it took on a different genre than he was used to, being a biographical drama. In 2026, Nolan is taking on yet another new genre with his latest epic, The Odyssey, which comes out July 17th. The film has a $250 million budget, so right off the bat, it needs to rake in about $500 million just for the studios to break even. I'm simultaneously ecstatic and nervous for this film because The Odyssey is one of my favorite books of all time. The story comes from about the 8th century BC and is known as one of the foundational pieces of Western literature. It's an epic poem which follows Odysseus' journey home to Ithaca, where his wife and son are, after the end of the Trojan War. Odysseus' journey is delayed and sidetracked by a number of forces, especially by the wrath of the gods. Throughout the journey, Odysseus' crew dwindles and dwindles as they make their way through the challenges which test their loyalty, vigor, and virtue. It's an action-packed film with witches, gods, and men, so I'll be very interested to see how Nolan tackles it. It's difficult to think that it will be confined to a singular film, but since there's no news of a sequel yet, I guess we'll just have to go with it. But I would not be surprised if the story was split into at least 2 films. Nolan is well known for using actors he's familiar with in subsequent films, so it's no surprise that he's followed suit on this one. We have Matt Damon playing Odysseus, Anne Hathaway playing his wife Penelope, and Tom Holland playing his son Telemachus, with Zendaya playing the goddess Athena. It's a stellar cast, and that's kinda what makes me nervous. See, I've always thought that if The Odyssey was to be brought back onto film again in a new rendition, that it should follow the path of Lord of the Rings, which brought on no-name actors like Orlando Bloom and Elijah Wood and put them on the map. I'm not sure if I buy Matt Damon as Odysseus, and there are some other questionable casting choices, but I'm also willing to give it a shot. If there's anyone alive who can make it work, even with fundamental pitfalls, it's Christopher Nolan. I'm rooting for the film, I'm rooting for the success of Nolan, and at the end of the day, I'm sure it's going to be great. But my main question again is he going to try to fit the whole story into one film? And if he does, what is he going to leave out? There are loads of turning points in this story, all of which play roles in the development both of Odysseus as a character, but also the safety of his crew and their chances of getting home. From the sirens to Calypso to the Cyclops, there is a lot that happens in this story. To be honest, I'm really hoping he splits it up into at least 2 films so that the full story can play out as it was meant to be. Overall, I'm very excited to see the film and to experience it on the big screen. If you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it because it's a great adventure tale with lots of meanings you can take from it about justice, humility, hospitality, and how the ancient Greek understandings of those virtues differ from the Western Christian worldview. So if you're just now finding out what the story of the Odyssey is, jump on the bandwagon and wait with us until July 17th for this epic film to hit the theaters. But until then, those are my comments on the upcoming film. Leave a comment below on your perspective of what it could look like. And like the video if you like the video, subscribe to see more film related content, and I will see you next week.